pushing and a pulling in the great big harbor. In the great big world, there's so much fun, so many brand new things to discover. Waking with the sun, gotta get the job done. Oh, Theodore and Emily, Foduck, Hank and George, and the harbor master too.
Oh, hello. The big harbor band is going to be in a parade, and I'm practicing. You hear that? There's a big ship coming into the harbor. Oh, I'll tell you, there's nothing I like better than watching the ships coming in and out of the harbor, but... I should keep practicing. See, I'm the only tuba player in the whole band. All my friends are counting on me. Foduck, he'd tell me to keep practicing. You see, he found out that if you can do something special, then it can be really special to all of your friends, too. I can't remember when there'd been so much fog in the harbor. It was like a giant cloud that came down from the sky. George had been away on a long ocean job, and he was telling the tugs all about it.
Oh, yes, I was up in the Arctic.
George boomed in his biggest voice.
That's way up at the top of the whole world.
Now, the other tugs always loved to hear stories about what it was like way out on the open ocean. They always seemed so exciting.
The water in the Arctic and icebergs that were even bigger than I am,
continued George, obviously enjoying his own story. In fact, the only thing more exciting than telling stories about the ocean was going on the ocean. All the tugs thought it was the very best thing that any tug could do. Well, just then, the dispatcher turned to the tugs to begin the morning work meeting.
A big cargo ship is arriving. Theodore and Hank, I would like you to bring her in. Now, continued the dispatcher, I'm sending one tug across the ocean to France to pick up a new barge for the harbor.
Foduck smiled inside and out. It was his turn for an ocean job. Going all the way to France would be great. He was sure to have wonderful stories to tell after that.
Emily,
said the dispatcher,
please leave for the ocean as soon as you are ready. That is all.
Foduck was startled. Emily? It was supposed to be his turn for an ocean job. Why had the dispatcher chosen Emily and not him? Just as Foduck was turning to go, the dispatcher called out in his most serious voice.
Foduck, I would like to have a word with you.
The dispatcher cleared his throat a little, the way he did when he was making an important announcement.
Foduck the Vigilant,
he began.
You are the only tugboat in the harbor with special safety equipment.
Yes, I am, replied Foduck.
Because you're special,
continued the dispatcher,
it has been decided that from now on, you will stay here in the harbor and be our official safety tug. You will begin your new job this morning.
Yes, sir, said Foduck in his bravest voice, but inside he began to feel terrible. All he could think of was those awful words, stay in the harbor. That meant he couldn't go out on the ocean again. As Emily left the harbor for her long ocean voyage to France, she gave a farewell whistle. The sound of Emily's whistle saying goodbye made Foduck feel even worse. He wished he were going all the way across the ocean. And instead, he was going on his first safety patrol all the way across the harbor. It was all because he was special. Well, right now, being special didn't feel that good. Maybe staying in the harbor won't be so bad, he thought, trying to cheer himself up. Maybe there are lots of things for a harbor safety tug to do. Foduck floated along through the fog. Something could be floating in the water, he was thinking. And a ship might not see it through all this fog. That could be dangerous. Foduck listened carefully to his special sonar machine. Now, the sounds from Foduck's sonar machine told him if he was close to anything in the water. Even when he couldn't see it with his own eye. And right now, his sonar machine made a slow poing, poing sound that meant there was nothing close by. Suddenly, the sonar machine began to poing faster and faster. Something must be in the water, thought Foduck. I don't hear anything else, so it can't be a ship. It might be a dangerous floating log. Foduck turned on his special spotlights to help him see the log. But it wasn't a log. It was Northumberland's submarine, slipping silently towards his dock.
Foduck,
Said Northumberland.
we submarines like to stay out of sight. Could you please turn off that bright light?
Sorry, said Foduck. I thought you were a giant log. Now, Northumberland wasn't very pleased to be mistaken for a log, and he floated off without another word to Foduck. Foduck continued on his safety inspection. He was feeling a little foolish about what had happened with Northumberland, and more eager than ever to do something really useful.
What good is being the safety tug anyway?
He called to the fog.
I've been everywhere in the harbor and there's nothing for me to do.
Foduck wished he could go out on the ocean. He stared sadly towards Rocky Point, where the harbor ended and the ocean began. Maybe I should check there, he thought. See, Rocky Point is a sharp piece of land that sticks out at the entrance of the harbor. It has a lot of dangerous rocks around it, and sometimes ships who don't know the harbor very well can come dangerously close to it. Now, there's probably nothing for me to do there either, he thought to himself. Now, at just around this time, our friends Theodore and Hank were starting to help a cargo ship into the harbor with Petra, the pilot boat, who was there to guide them along. The tugs hadn't got too far before they realized Petra had disappeared in the thick fog. They knew they were lost.
What do we do, Theodore?
Said Hank.
Keep pulling,
Replied Theodore.
and hope we're going in the right direction.
A rocky point has a light on it to warn ships away from its dangerous rocky shore. But Theodore and Hank couldn't see that light through the thick fog. And that was too bad, because they were heading right for those rocks. Foduck was floating along when he heard it. His special sonar machine was telling him that something was out there in the water, and it sounded like something big, moving straight towards Rocky Point. Foduck knew what he had to do. That sound almost froze Theodore's heart. There was only one sound like it in the whole harbor. Foduck's special emergency whistle. You see, all the ships and boats in the big harbor are trained when they hear Foduck's emergency whistle to stop whatever they're doing and whistle back immediately. Now that says, I'm over here and I hear you. And that is what Theodore and Hank did. They whistled as loud as they could and stopped moving the cargo ship. The tugboats turned to see Foduck hurrying towards them, shining his special spotlights. And then they saw that they'd almost run right into Rocky Point with the cargo ship.
Foduck,
Shouted Hank.
you saved us.
I did.
Said Foduck.
But we still have to get this ship to her dock,
Said Theodore.
and it's so hard to see. How are we ever going to find our way through the harbor? Yes, what'll we do?
Called the ship. Suddenly, Foduck shouted.
I have it.
Have what, Foduck?
Asked Theodore.
Here's what we'll do.
He continued, and he explained his plan to the tugs. Well, I have to say, it was a wonderful plan. Wonderful. The tugs couldn't see, of course, through the fog. But here's what they did. Foduck led the way. He listened to his sonar machine to make sure that they weren't near any dangerous rocks. He used his special spotlights to help the tugs see a little better through the fog. And every so often, he blew his emergency whistle to warn anyone nearby that they were coming. As soon as they heard Foduck's whistle, everyone in the harbor answered back in their own special way, "I'm over here, and I hear you." And that way, the tugboats knew exactly where they were. "That's Bedford Bowie," shouted Theodore. "He's always guarding the entrance to the harbor. We're getting closer." "There's Lily Lighthouse calling," said Hank. "That must mean we're at Willie's Island in the middle of the harbor." Next, they heard a soft toot, and they all knew who that was. "Fillmore," said Theodore. "And Philip," shouted Hank. "We're almost at the cargo docks." "Keep," said Fillmore. "Going," concluded Philip. "Almost home, tugboats," called Benjamin. "Almost home." Using his special equipment, Foduck led the way, straight as an arrow through that foggy harbor. "We're doing it," shouted Hank. "We're doing it. Good work." Soon the tugs were safely at the cargo docks with the ship. "Hooray!" shouted Hank. "We did it!" "Thanks to Foduck," smiled Theodore. "You found us and brought us in with your special equipment." Foduck smiled too. He had done something special, and that did feel great. "It's a good thing you rode on your harbor safety patrol," said Hank. Foduck didn't say anything. At first, he hadn't wanted to be the harbor safety tug. But now, well, things seemed different. The tugboats set off for the great ocean dock together. And just then, as if by magic, the fog lifted and the sun came out. It was a beautiful sight. "There are the fairy twins," said Theodore. "And Constance," said Hank. "And Lily Lighthouse, too." The tugs could see all their friends in the big harbor again. "You know," said Foduck, who had been thinking very hard about something, "this harbor really is a wonderful place to be." "It sure is," agreed Hank and Theodore. "And maybe, quite possibly," Foduck said quietly, "it will be a wonderful place to be the official harbor safety tug. A wonderful place indeed." You know, Foduck has been our special safety tug ever since. Oh, we're all very happy to have him with us here in the big harbor. You know something? Foduck is too. Well, I better get back to practicing my tuba. I wouldn't want to let down my friends in the big harbor band. Besides, the parade is tomorrow. Well, thanks for visiting us here in the big harbor, and we'll see you all again next time. So long. Wait a minute, a parade? That means marching. I've never tried marching and playing at the same time. No time like the present, I guess. This is kind of fun.
Theodore, he's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. A friendly tugboat too. Oh, Theodore and Emily, Foduck, Hank and George and the harbor master too.